Last week I posted a video that you guys seemed to really like, and that was 10 warning signs that your hairstylist sucks. Oh my gosh, you guys, I got so much engagement on that video. I got so many comments on that video. Then I got this comment. Alex wrote, okay, next video for us stylists, 10 warning signs your clients suck. Alex, I really hope you're watching this because you not only made me laugh and made me go, yeah, but you also inspired me today. So thank you so much for leaving that comment. Number one is the client who acts and genuinely feel like they know more than you. Now, I'm not talking about the clients that actually do have an understanding of some things and give you a bit of a heads up. So for example, client sits in your chair and they tell you, my hair does not do well with lightener for whatever reason. It melts really quick. That's great information to have because that tells me, okay, if you've had this experience in the past, we should use really low level of developer and extend your appointment time so that you have a slow and steady lift when we're doing highlights or balayage or whatever. Or maybe that tells me to use a clay-based lightener, or maybe that tells me to add Olaplex into my formulation. There are a lot of things that we can tweak when we know what's going on with your hair. And if you know from past experiences that something's going to happen, giving us a heads up is really great. So that's not the type of client I am talking about. I am talking about the type of client that micromanages the entire appointment and actually thinks that they know more than you, which is insane because we do this all day, every day for years and years and years and years. The funny thing with this as well is that sometimes clients that are the micromanaging clients, they don't even know what they're saying, or the things that they're saying don't really make any sense. So I had a client once who told me, I am a winter, I need to know what color formulation you are using. So the whole like I am a winter, I am a summer thing, that is so outdated. Like I am turning 36 next month and I don't even know what that means. Like I don't even, that's not even of my time. So that is an extremely outdated concept. So for one, that doesn't mean anything. That really doesn't mean anything. And for two, you know, if say for example, this client wants to have a level 8N or like a neutral blonde that's not too gold and it's not too ashy, they want a natural blonde, I'm going to formulate a formula of toner that is going to get them there depending on their existing level, how it was lifted, and the underlying pigment in that lift. So if they lifted really warm, then maybe I have to use an 8N mixed with some 7A, like a splash or 10 mils of 7A in the toner. If I tell you that, I'm going to be using 60 mils developer, 20 mils 8N, and 10 mils 7A. What does that mean to you? It doesn't mean anything. When the client wants to know every single detail about every single thing, they don't have the basis of knowledge to understand the details that we're giving because they don't know that in Goldwell, in that specific color line, an 8N is gonna look like this and a 7A is gonna do this. You know, whereas in L'Oreal, it might be different. In Joico, it might be different. You need a really full understanding of not only color theory, but also of the color line that you're using in order to be able to formulate properly. So those micromanaging clients can be really frustrating because they just have absolutely no idea what they're talking about, and trying to tell them and then saying, no, I don't want a 7A. A 7 is too dark for the blonde I want. How do you know that? Have you worked with Goldwell? Have you worked with Goldwell on this porosity of hair? Have you worked with Goldwell that has lifted a warm level 9 and you're trying to bring it down to a cooler or a neutral level N? How do you know that a 7A isn't gonna work? Because it might work on your porosity, it might not work on her porosity, it might work on the way that your level lifted, it might not work on the way that her level lifted. There's too many factors for you to be an expert in your chair, period. It's just the truth. I don't go into my accountant's office and look at him and say, you know what, Doug, that's my accountant's name, I don't think you should do math like that. You should stack the numbers. And I don't go into my dentist's office and say, I don't like how you're freezing my teeth. Can you freeze my teeth the summer way? So stop doing that. It's annoying. No matter who you're going to, let me tell you, they're annoyed. Number two is the client with extremely unrealistic expectations. This has been a big problem in, I would say, the last 5 years of doing hair, especially with social media, you know, really becoming forefront in our lives. and the amount of Photoshop and filtering that is going on. So we're asked to do things that don't look like that in real life. And I see this a lot in my makeup business because I'm a makeup artist as well. And a lot of people are bringing me these beautiful makeup inspiration photos, but that photo is so Photoshopped. Like no one's skin looks like that in real life. No one's eyes can even possibly look like that in real life. You can get the feeling of the image, but you're not going to get a replication of that image because it's not real. It's completely Photoshopped. I've been finding lately the trends are starting to chill a little bit. So we're getting a lot of blonde, which is blonde and brown mixed together. We're getting a lot of soft blended balayages. We're getting a lot more natural colors. So this is starting to get a little bit better. But even 2 years ago, really super light hair, like level 11 hair, lighter than the lightest level, and ashy, you know, going into gray territory was a huge thing. And girls would come in with a level 2 hair, like my natural hair, and they would want to leave like this after a 3-hour appointment. This is a wig. My hair would never get to this level, be this healthy, and, you know, maintain its integrity and length ever if it was natural. It wouldn't, because my hair is too dark, it's too fine, it's too porous, and before it gets to this point, it's going to melt and break. So having realistic expectations is so important. Now, there's 2 types of clients. I have the client that comes into the salon and they are me without the wig, and they say, I want this hair. And you tell them why it's not achievable, and they accept it, and they will go towards different trends, or they will still try, but in a slow and steady way. But then there's a client that absolutely refuses to believe you. And those clients just think that you're lazy, or that you don't want to do it, or that, you know, you just refuse to service them, but they know 100% it will work. And those clients can get really frustrating because it has nothing to do with laziness. It has everything to do with biology of hair. And that brings me to the client who refuses to believe you, has you do it anyway, and now they hate their hair, and in turn they hate you and badmouth you. I'll give you a great example. So I was on location doing a bride. This was just last summer, and she had really dark hair like my actual hair, my non-wig hair. And it was balayaged to a very light blonde at the bottom. So it was super dark, level 2, blending down to a level 10. And of course, she had super long hair. From here to here, where the balayage was done aggressively, it was very dry. But I'm gonna tell you something. It was even, it was ashy, it was blended, and if styled properly, it would look phenomenal. Really well done from whoever did it. The stylist who did it did a really good job. When I started doing this girl's updo for her wedding day, she just started bad-mouthing her stylist like crazy. She basically told me her stylist doesn't know what she's doing. Her hair is so super dry now. She can't even get her natural texture, which, because she was a Latina, it was quite wavy. So her texture changed, which it does if you over-process hair. If you over-process curly hair, you lose your curls. You just get fuzz, like you don't get the coil pattern anymore. So she went on and on for about an hour while I was doing her hair about how her stylist sucks and she just doesn't know what she's doing. And it really made me reflect on that, because her stylist didn't suck at all. Her stylist got her to that inspiration picture 10 out of 10. The reality is that if you are going so far with lightener, there is going to be repercussions to that. Whether or not her stylist warned her of that, maybe that was a deficit in their communication, but it goes to show that when a client refuses to believe you, I'm not sure if this was the situation here, but sometimes a client refuses to believe you and they make you do it, and you do it and you get it there. You're like, oh my God, the heavens parted, God looked down on me and allowed me to lift this level 2 to a level 10 in, I don't know, 2 appointments. It's not gonna happen in 1 appointment, so I don't even wanna say 1 appointment. God can't even do that. Now, because their hair is damaged, they're gonna hate you anyway. That's the worst. And then you get these calls, right? My hair's so damaged, it's falling out, it's this, it's that. Yeah, because that's what happens when you bleach hair 10 levels. The next one is the client who doesn't know what they want, but they hate everything that you do. So this is the client that comes in and you say, do you have any inspirational pictures? You know, how would you like your hair changed today? And they show you a picture of a super ash blonde, and then they show you a picture of a golden balayage, and then they show you a picture of like a really dark chocolate brown, and then they show you a picture of a dark brown balayaged with blonde, and you're like, whoa, hold on, this seems far-fetched. I bet a lot of you guys are like, does that actually happen? It happens all the time. And then no matter what you do, the client's unsatisfied because they don't have a concrete plan. They don't have an actual idea of how they want their hair to actually look. Now, when it comes to this type of client, I tread lightly because I was this client in high school. I was so self-conscious in high school. I was like a nerdy girl. I was a true nerd. I was nerdy as hell. And I was self-conscious. I didn't get attention from boys. I wasn't really pretty. And so every time I'd go to the hair salon, I felt like this is my moment. I am gonna leave here and I'm gonna be a different person. And I would ask for like blonde highlights, and the stylist would give me blonde highlights and they would do a great job, but then I would hate it because I still looked like me. And I still felt like me on the inside. And for whatever reason, I felt like if I changed my hair, I would be different. I would look different. I would feel different. And you can't be a different person if you have different hair. You're still the same person. So sometimes I think that those clients that are really yo-yoing, they're trying to find acceptance and love in themselves. They're trying to look in the mirror and love themselves, and they're putting that on the stylist. And that can be really challenging for a stylist to navigate because no matter what we do physically, it's not gonna change how you feel emotionally and psychologically. The next one's a more obvious one, and it's the client who disrespects your time. This is the client that shows up late every single appointment. I'm telling you guys, if you show up even 15 minutes late for a stylist who is busy, it is a domino effect. The entire day is scheduled in a way where you are rotating through chairs and you're rotating through services. Once you get a 15-minute gap in that rotation, we can't make our appointment time 15 minutes less and give you what you want, unless we change the services, which I think a lot of stylists do. But for me, it's very hard. If someone wants something that's really complicated and I have 15 minutes less, I just try to do it anyways. And what ends up happening that's really challenging is it becomes this domino where it then impacts the next appointment and the next appointment and the next appointment. And then what happens from there is that the other clients that you have start getting really mad at you. Don't disrespect your stylist time. The next one is the client who messages you too much. I've had this happen as well. I love my clients, I do. And I think when you have a relationship with your clients over several years, it becomes a really personal and a really intimate relationship. And I love that. But you do have to recognize that your stylist, this is their job. And they love sitting with you and they love doing your hair and they love hearing all the tea and you love hearing their tea, and it's so good. But when you leave their chair, you gotta chill on the messaging. You do have to maintain a little bit of professionalism in that. Save everything you wanna tell them. Save your pictures, save all your ideas, and show them during the consultation at your next appointment. Update them at your next appointment, what's going on with your boyfriend, because it can become a lot. The next one's a client who moves around too much. Oh my God, this client. Girl, stop moving. I have a client like this that I am thinking about right now who moves so much, and I tell this client, you need to stop moving. I'm gonna mess up your haircut. I'm going to make your highlights bleed because the lightener is like this and your head's moving, or like I'm gonna cut you, or I'm gonna burn your face with my hot tool. Stop moving. Stop, just stop moving. This one is another one that stylists complain about a lot, and it's that client who undervalues you. That client who undervalues your time. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something. So hairstyling is a skilled trade. It takes years to get great at it, years. You have to make a lot of mistakes to get really good, and you need to take a lot of courses to stay updated. You need to practice and practice and practice. And there are a lot of expenses. Scissors are so expensive. My scissors are $1,000. Color is so expensive. When I was doing a lot of color in the salon, I was spending at least $1,500 a month, at least, in color and developer and gloves and foils and. There are a lot of expenses. So once you factor in all of those expenses, not to mention the actual expense for the location if you're a salon owner, and the insurance, and the booking system expense, and if you have assistants or receptionists or anything, that $300 color and cut that you got done, that took 3 hours, you're like, man, she makes $100 an hour. I'm gonna tell you something, that stylist is not making $100 an hour. That stylist is making like $20 an hour, which is really low for a skilled trade. And there's been so many podcasts out there on how to like increase your hourly rate because of all of these damn expenses. You know, you're wanting to give your client the best possible service. They want a super complicated balayage. It takes you 6-7 hours and you hand them the bill and they die. There is something to be said about knowing at the beginning how much you're gonna pay and having your stylist tell you, you know, if situation A happens, it's gonna be this much. If your hair doesn't lift like that and situation B happens, it's gonna be this much. And really great stylists are gonna tell you that. You should not be shocked by the bill. But if you're someone that nickels and dimes, you want champagne at beer price, you're not gonna get it. You're not gonna get it because your stylist makes way less money than you think they do. And they deserve to make money. They are an artist, they are a skilled tradesperson, they understand so much about this industry and how hair works and the biology of it all and color theory. You know, it really is biology meets art, and they deserve to be paid well. And finally, number 10 is the super negative client. I've had a few of these in my life where they come into the salon and it's like the whole room gets dark. You know, they hate their life, they hate their husband, they hate their children, they hate their hair, they're unhappy, they're miserable. And the whole appointment is this like toxic doom. So when I was a new stylist, I really wanted to help these people. I wanted to like bring light to them, and I was just like Mary freaking Poppins. But now it really sucks my will to live. It's life sucking. It is. It's life sucking to have a client in your chair for a really long time that just is so negative. Just don't. Thank you so much for watching. If you are a stylist, I want to know in the comment section some of the things that your clients do that drive you absolutely crazy. This can be a really fun little stream of comments to read through. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.